The AFC East Fantasy Football Preview and Best Bets edition of Old Fashioned Football on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 325 times your entry with their new Pick 8. Sign up with OFF SGPN and claim your special pick plus first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. Underdog Fantasy promo code OFF SGPN. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get the best data-driven props and picks from Rhythm. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Hey, what's up? This is Sam Acho, and you're listening to Old Fashioned Football.
Old Fashioned Football.
Make this deal right now, you pancake eating mother.
All right, deal.
Old Fashioned Football.
Welcome to Old Fashioned Football. If you're wondering who you're listening to, that's fair. This is J Mark. You can find me on the X at J Mark Football. And if you're wondering who us is, that's at Old Fashioned FB. Before I keep going to talk about the AFC East, I got to introduce my co-host on the pod and in life. You can find her on the X at the Mark. How you doing today?
Doing great, aside from the fact that we're just a giant cluster over here.
It was a little bit of a cluster. Let me tell you what, for as far as a cluster, I'm trying to get this tweeted out and all that good stuff, but I was making our old fashions and I somehow managed to spill bitters all over the floor. Not sure how that happened. And then I was getting a little cherry in there, and I swear I held it over your glass and did this, and it bounced off the rim of your glass, bounced off the counter, and then onto the floor. No idea how any of that happened.
Where did that cherry go?
It got into the disposal. I cleaned up the mess. Do not worry.
It's not in my drink.
No.
That's my concern.
I went, good enough. Whoop, right into your drink. I probably would have if it was mine.
Your own, so Jesus. I was supposed to make the old fashions today. I just ran out of time to do it. So
and see, your punishment is a floor cherry.
I know, I'm
so
like, is there sediment in here? Because we need to vacuum.
I didn't put that cherry in there. It is in the disposal.
Okay.
I promise you.
I've had time to.
I know how picky you are, so it's okay. I wouldn't do that to you. Yeah, we're gonna be talking the AFC East today, and NASCAR Gambling Podcast, who is going to be our guest today.
Oh, you're just gonna spoiler alert it?
Spoiler alert.
We're gonna have.
You can announce it differently, but they will be the guest. Says go Patriots and Huskers. Gross. I should have just hucked Tua on your cherry and called it good as new, says Jamie. Huck Tua. But yeah,
I'm kind of nervous to drink this. I haven't tried it yet.
I did not.
I swear, if I have a dog here in my drink, oh my god,
I wouldn't do that to you. Why don't you tell them what we're talking about today before you get too carried away?
It's our sixth, yeah. It's our sixth of our 8 division previews. I feel like we've said this on every single one, but we're doing these a little different this year. So if you haven't tuned in already to us as we're doing these division previews, we're going to touch on both ADP, which for those of you who need to know what that is, average draft position, and AAV, or average auction value. And we're bringing you some best bets at the end of the show.
Yeah.
And while we're doing these division previews, we're trying to have on as many guests as we can, just to get some good conversations going.
Yeah. And we have one today.
We do have a special guest today. You already hinted to the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
We didn't say which one, though. There's 2 co-hosts on there.
We're going to keep it a secret, but he's already gotten some jabs in at me via text.
To be fair, shout out to Letterkenny if y'all watch that. We kind of have a jab at him almost every podcast.
I know, because I got one.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Okay.
Who are we covering?
Oh, yeah. We got the Bills, the Dolphins.
No, we're covering that.
Oh, sorry.
I think we already said that earlier.
Yes, the AFC East, which is the Bills, the Dolphins, the Jets, and the Patriots.
Sorry, Cody.
Before we bring him on to defend himself, because he'll at least get to defend himself this week, what are we drinking today?
We are drinking Keeper's Heart finished in, it's their Irish American, finished in orange sherry casks.
Yes, the
We
orange
got
cherry
this-
barrels.
Yeah, we we're at the distillery over this last weekend. We're almost already to another weekend, which this week has gone by so fast. But we did a podcast up in Minneapolis Saturday.
Yeah.
After our visit to the distillery, we did go back for dinner, but after we did our tour, our whiskey blending, our cocktail at the bar from our blended whiskey that we blended ourselves, we checked out their gift shop and they have some serious swag.
They do. I'm wearing some right now.
You are.
Keeper's Heart.
Look at that.
I had it backwards just so you could read it.
They have bottles of all of their whiskey in there, and we can't get everything that they have up there where we are.
No.
And they have a new whiskey that is what we're drinking today. We found out something we never knew before, that if you're debating whiskeys in their gift shop, they will just open it behind the counter and they just open a door and there's bottles of open whiskey and you can try everything.
Yeah, I highly recommend if you're at the gift shop, you go,
I don't know,
is that any good?
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, do you want to try it?
We were debating like between, do we need to get another bottle of this? Yes, we do. Do we want this? Do we want to try this?
Well, they have another new one finished in Angelica barrels.
Yes. Yep. We did not walk away with that one.
We tried
There
it,
are
but-
Minnesota liquor laws for distilleries.
Yes, it's stupid.
It's hard to get around those.
Yeah, it's not their fault. It's actually the distributor's fault. They don't want people getting it directly from the distillery. They want you to go to the store where the distributors can make some profit off of it. So they limit it to 750 milliliters per guest
per
day. Now,
nope, there are laws and they abide by them.
there are laws. I was going to say now they do have smaller bottles, which you can see behind Miranda, that are $3.75. So you can get two of those, which we got the maple and the smaller one, finished in maple barrels. But anyways, we'll talk a little bit more about Keeper's Heart in a little bit. But obviously, you're listening to Old Fashioned Football Podcast. Make sure you go check out the Sports Gambling Podcast. If they've started their top 10 fantasy football previews, the quarterbacks and tight ends episodes are already live. I have no idea why Sean has Chico Okonkwo on there, but not Kyle Pitts. I don't understand it, and I have given him crap for it already. It's never too early, though, to start drafting for the National Football League. I can't do a Chris Berman voice. I'll work on that for next time. Nick is saying, Murr, is your mic on?
Oh, no.
Murr is kind of low and hard to hear. Let me just do a little configuring here.
We tested everything before, but we are a cluster. I said we're a cluster today.
All right, let me know if that's better,
Is it
everybody.
better? Please, somebody
Cody
tell
says
me.
yes.
Oh my god!
I mean, our guest says yes.
Well, you already said it was Cody. We said sorry, Cody.
Oh, right.
And yes.
Do you want to bring him on, or you want me to bring him on? I'll bring him on.
You bring him on. I'm a little like taken aback. I just talked a shit ton, and everybody probably couldn't hear me.
That's fine. It is what it is. Our guest is a Patriots fan, hence why we brought him in. He is also, even worse, a Husker fan. I just have to say that because of the Iowa-Nebraska rivalry. And obviously, Iowa corn is better than Nebraska's. But anyways, he co-hosts the NASCAR gambling podcast, the F1 gambling podcast. He writes literally on every sport you could think of. I mean, cycling, lacrosse. He's just got a bunch of stuff that he writes on, and it's all great. And I mean, just ask him how his cycling article did. A lot of people interested in that and getting his input. But without further ado, we got to bring in Mr. Cody Zeeb. Cody, how you doing today?
Hello, friends. How are you?
With your Rex Burkhead.
I do. Husker and Patriot. Rex Burkhead, by the way. I have also a bottle of Keeper's Heart, a.k.a. the trophy from the Old Fashioned Football.
You won that last year.
It's
I
not
did.
open.
It doesn't look like
What?
there's
I
much
was
gone.
thinking-
It's so pretty. How am I supposed to open
It's so
it?
pretty.
I got to buy a different one because I'm going to keep this one. It's my trophy to remind me that I kicked you
It
guys'
is-
ass. So
It is a very pretty bottle.
Yeah.
I do appreciate the invitation to come on here. Every week I tune into this show, and every week I think to myself, why do you listen to these guys? Because every week, sorry, Cody, say something about Nebraska. Sorry, Cody, say something about the Patriots. Sorry, Cody. So I came on here to defend myself, tell you about how the Patriots are winning the Super Bowl this year. So yeah, here we go. By the way, too, on the cherry thing, 5-second rule, Justin. It's perfectly fine that you put the cherry in there. I know you told me not to tell Murr that.
Don't tell.
I haven't taken a drink yet. I'm nervous.
I saw you looking for the dog hair earlier. So.
You guys, you don't understand. If you've ever had a meal with Miranda, she highly inspects her food anyways. Like, she's always like pulling stuff apart, looking at it, making sure there's nothing funky. It's one of the first things my parents noticed about you, actually. Like,
I didn't realize I had such a problem.
Yeah.
I guess I'm a little OCD that way.
A little.
We growing up with pets, and like we have a dog and a cat. There's gonna be dog hair,
and it's
hair.
fine.
I can't have that in my food. It can't be in my food. It can't be in my no.
When you're sleeping, you ingest it. 100%.
Don't notice it. It don't make a difference.
Exactly. Nick pointing out in the chat that you don't ride on soccer.
Not yet, just because I haven't
Not
asked
yet.
me to yet. I didn't ride on cycling until I do now. So
Yeah, exactly. Jamie used to be a Patriots fan when Baltimore stole the Browns. So used to be, not anymore.
Sorry, Jamie, you should have stuck with that. Probably
well,
would have been
for a while.
choice, but,
probably a good time to leave now.
Well, maybe not anymore. But
and Nick pointing out how you enjoy your chips and queso is very interesting.
That's not OCD though.
Let's ask Cody's opinion on this.
Oh
Cody,
God.
would you prefer to dip your chip in queso and you get that nice crunch and the queso taste, or would you like it to sit in there until it's soggy?
What? No, Miranda.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Yes, no, not soggy.
Chips and queso is literally the greatest creation in the history of the world.
It is. I'm not.
And you ruin it?
No, it takes a bath in the queso. It sits in there for a couple minutes.
Don't say
you used to be my favorite host on this show, but sorry, Justin is retaking first place, so you're gonna have to earn that back.
Oh my gosh. I can enjoy just as there's no wrong way to drink bourbon, there's no wrong way to eat.
Can we bet on that, Jamie? Because I bet I could talk the bosses into letting me ride on the sport of pillow fighting. If
I think that would be entertaining.
I think you need a slap bet right up. You know, where the sport where they slap the shit out of each other, which is always interesting to watch.
I don't know if I can watch that though, because it's like, oh man, it just makes me cringe every time I see a video. I'm like,
I know, like their face is bruised. Sometimes they're bleeding. They have the swelling under the eye, and they're sitting there like, "Go ahead, hit me again." It's pretty good. Sports nonsense and whiskey.
Can I
chiming in saying soggy chips is gross?
I see that. Can I defend myself a little bit? It's
not
like
there is no
defense.
Apart. You can't.
It's not a wet chip.
Yes, it is.
No,
yes, it is. If it's soggy, it's wet.
No.
Yes.
No, it's soft. It's soft. It's no longer crunchy.
It's no longer crunchy.
If it's not crunchy, then it's not hard.
But it's not soggy. That sounds gross. Yeah, soggy is gross. Soggy. It's soaked with cheese.
And when it's soaked with cheese and it's crunchy, that's when it's delicious.
When you pick a chip up, it should be like this. Yours go like that's not okay.
You guys are killing me. How did we get on this? Nick.
Thank you, Nick. I'm
glad Nick. It's easy to blame Nick. Should we jump right into quarterbacks?
Can we?
We can. Yeah, we can jump into.
I love my chips and queso. I don't care what you all say because I still enjoy it.
Imagine how much more you would love them if you ate them correctly. Like, your mind would probably be blown.
Facts. Actually, real quick before we jump into that, just so we hit our ad read mark. Why don't you tell them a little bit Underdog Fantasy, which we did a live draft on our podcast last Saturday.
We did. So we are brought to you by Underdog Fantasy, and Pick 8 is now live. You can create entries with up to 8 picks, and Underdog will automatically double flex entries. So you can miss up to 2 picks and still win your entry. With even more picks to make and extra ways to win, the excitement is higher than ever. And the best part is that you can win up to 325 times your original amount. You can now use specials and boosts on all flex entries. So don't miss your chance to try it out before it's gone.
Plus, if you're already a user, deposit between now and UFC 303 for a 10% bonus cash. So it's not just the new people getting good stuff now. Sign up with promo code OFFSGPN to claim your special pick plus first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code OFFSGPN. And I don't know if I'll have my CFL picks out tonight, but I will have them out tomorrow because I've already made them. And I feel really good about this week's picks. They seem way too easy. And we're also brought to you by Circa Survivor and Circa Millions. Circa Sports is back with Circa Survivor and Circa Millions. They're giving away $16 million in guaranteed prizes. I want a piece of that. Of course, Circa contests have no rake, so the winners make all the money. Circa Millions pick 5 NFL teams ATS each week and compete for $6 million or survive the NFL gauntlet to claim the $10 million prize. Sign up in person at Circa Sports between now and September 7th and use a proxy to play from anywhere. We even have a deal with footballcontestproxy.com to save you $50 with promo code SGP. Don't have a trip booked for Las Vegas yet before football? Don't worry, the Ultimate Contest Weekend is a great time to go out there, hang out with Ryan and Sean, and enjoy some of the open bar events. I love me an open bar at the greatest sports book in the world, August 22nd through the 24th. And just a shout out to that bar, the downstairs bar, the steakhouse, they do have Iowa Legendary Rye, a special barrel pick. Upstairs bar does not yet, but hopefully they get it soon. Yeah. Should we jump?
We had them on the show a while back.
Yes. Really interesting history there. Mm-hmm. They use a raccoon. And they used to, anyways. They don't now. They used a raccoon penis bone to drip the spirit out of the still because back then they could not get the jug under their still. And they needed something that would drip it in there instead of just spill it all over the floor. And that's what they found was like the perfect thing for it. So
I want to know, like, who's like,
oh, I just got this
look around. Like, what can we use? Oh, that's not going to work. You look at the raccoon and you like make eye contact with it. And it just like tucks its head down and it's like, oh no, please no. And then
even better if a guy just pulled it out of his pocket. I got this raccoon piece.
I found this. Yeah.
Why do you have
most
that?
Random thing.
It works though, apparently.
I know.
Yeah. Real quick before we jump into quarterbacks, Nick would like to know how you became a New England Patriots fan.
Yes, so I was a little kid at the beginning of the Tom Brady era. My dad's not really into football, not really a big sports guy, so I loved football. The first Super Bowl I remember watching is the Patriots and Rams back in the day, and we had to pick a team as we sat down to watch it. My mom loved Boston, so we're like, all right, we're going for the Patriots. They obviously win. It was a pretty nice way to hook me in. And there was a lot of winning after that. So since I'm a Husker fan, that's been good because they don't win. So
well, now the Patriots don't win either.
Oh, thanks. But that's okay because the Huskers are going to start winning. See, it's all the circle of life.
A balance. Okay. Yeah. As they said on Indiana Jones, which we've been watching at our theater for way back Wednesdays, you chose wisely. A lot of good years for you.
Yeah, that worked out pretty nicely for me. So,
yeah.
Glad it was that Super Bowl and not like it could have been like the Patriots Panthers one, and then I picked the Panthers, and
that would have been bad. Yeah, I mean Miranda's story is similar to the fact that her dad was not huge into sports. Your family was; they were Packer fans.
Packers, so it's like
you never really watched it until she met me, and I'm diehard Bears fan. Unfortunately, she's not seen a lot of winning, but.
Well, they were good that one time.
I learned I so much hope at the beginning, and you think like back, I came in when Urlacher was still there, and
Devin Hester,
and now it's I don't know. You keep hope, but you have lower expectations.
I remember our first apartment watching that NFC North game. Or not NFC North game, sorry, the NFC Championship game between us and the Packers. And then Cutler got hurt and Caleb Haney comes in and he actually scores a touchdown and we're like jumping on the couch, but then he throws a pick to BJ Raji and he returns it for a touchdown and all hope was lost. I specifically remember that in our first apartment. Remember that yellow couch that I got from Goodwill? Or did I get it from Goodwill or
you did.
The dumpster?
No.
That was a Goodwill.
We set it out.
You never know with me.
When we were done.
I was a bit of a dumpster diver.
Oh my gosh. No,
that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. I did at one point have a lawnmower in my dorm after I picked it up off the curb because somebody just set it out there and I wanted to take it apart. So, it happens. All right, Miranda.
It happens.
You lead us off with the
Yes.
quarterback. Start with
Let's-
the top guy, in my opinion.
Josh Allen.
Yes.
All
Oh,
right,
we're going straight to Drake May. Weird.
Oh no, Josh Allen. Last season he finished with 410.6 fantasy points. He had 8 top 5 finishes. His current ADP is QB1 with an AAV of $39, and last year he finished as QB1. So I don't think you can really argue that. You can't put Drake May ahead of that.
I guess he can be second. That's fine.
Second. Yeah.
So how do you want to do this, Justin? You want to talk about Josh Allen now, or do you want to keep going through?
Yeah, let's talk about Josh Allen now.
All right.
Do you want me to kick it off? You have any thoughts on him?
There's no Stephon Diggs.
There is no Diggs. The drama has left the building.
The drama left.
That's
the
how I
building.
feel about that.
I don't know, Cody. Do you have thoughts before we give?
Yeah, well, fantasy wise, honestly, Diggs leaving might be good for Allen. I think he's going to run the ball more. And I mean, I hate the Bills, and I'm glad that they never win, and they will never win, which is wonderful. But Josh Allen's really fucking good. I mean, there's no denying that, and he's great at fantasy. I mean, if you want to, you have to spend up. Obviously, you have to pick him early in a drafting league. You got to spend up in auction, but you're pretty secure in the fact that every week you're going to have a really good week from Josh Allen. So there's not really an argument to be made against him. He's very good. The wide receiver room, obviously, there's a lot of question marks there now with Diggs being gone, but I think that he'll figure it out. They'll be fine. And I think he just runs the ball more, which in fantasy is generally a good thing.
Yeah, for sure. I'm a big Keon Coleman fan. If you've listened to us, you know I'm a big fan of him, and not just because of his advice on coat sales and how to get your winter coats and when to get them. So I think they'll be all right with that. They still have Khalil Shakir too, who was there last year. So
and they have Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, they got Curtis Samuel, who I think is going to be really good in the slot.
Samuel's definitely. I like him a lot this year for fantasy.
Yeah, and he's got. I mean, nobody's drafted all these receivers. We'll talk about it in a little bit, but in auction, they're all going for an AAV of $1. So, I mean, you're getting Josh Allen throwing to you. I think
you want to pick up those.
And you want to
find, not
yeah.
to jump too far ahead, obviously, but tight end wise, they have 2 pretty good tight ends. Kincaid obviously being a young guy, but even Knox is a solid guy when he's out there on the field and a good receiver. I think you'll probably just use those more. I don't really foresee the Bills' offense skipping too much of a beat, and especially from Allen.
Right. I agree. My only concern is, and this is anytime you're getting the guy that's the top in their position, ADP wise, is you're obviously drafting them at their ceiling. You're hoping that they can repeat, they can be the number one again. Sometimes I would rather wait and get a guy that's the 4th or 5th that could jump to that number 1 spot. That's my only concern, because if you take the top quarterback, like Drake May, if you take the top quarterback, I mean, there's little room for error until he's not the top quarterback, if that makes sense. Yeah. Anyways, next.
Let's talk about Tua.
Tua.
Even though I'm mad at you for your comments about him a couple weeks ago.
That was inappropriate.
What did you just do?
It's when he had his concussion and his fingers did that.
God.
No, it was terrible. I agree.
Wow, why would you marry this man, Miranda? I can't believe that.
Oh my God!
When I think Tua, that's what comes to my mind.
You were making some like at me, like, oh, because I'm mad at you.
It's much worse than that.
It was much worse.
Yeah. All right. Talk about Tua.
This makes the dog hair cherry not look so bad.
All right.
Wow. You've left me speechless here. Tua, he brought in not quite the not even close to the 410 points that Josh Allen brought in last season, but he did bring in 284.4 points. He had 3 top 5 finishes. His current ADP is QB 13 with an AAV of $2, and last year he finished at QB 9. I think, as always, like, the biggest question around him for me is his health. But you said, stop it. That is not okay.
No, I mean, that is a big concern. He's had the concussions.
He managed to stay healthy, like, you know, with his.
He showed up skinnier at OTAs, though. And I feel like if you're trying to prevent your noggin from being wrung, you don't want to get skinnier. But that's just my opinion. Anyways, you have anything else before
Well,
we
I
turn?
was just gonna say, like, Mike McDaniel has him performing just at a great level.
Yeah, no, better than I
Mhm.
ever thought Tua would be. I
Mhm.
will say that. Cody, what are your thoughts on Tua?
It is $2 actually correct for his auction value.
Mhm.
In a standard league, not a super
Standard.
flex.
We're
but
not
in a
super
standard.
flexing it.
Still though, like
But
that's
yeah.
great. He
Mhm.
led the
Agreed.
league in passing yards last season. So
Yeah,
which speaks to him being there. And the injury thing, like I struggle with the fact that like people are injury prone, quote unquote, because
Mhm.
yeah, some people are, but injuries are so just unpredictable and random for the most part. Like some guys play their whole career and only get hurt once or twice. Some guys get hurt more, but then Christian McCaffrey, like, is he injury prone? Sure. So if you didn't draft him the last 2 years, well, sucks for you because look how
Right.
well that worked out, right? So I think you're getting him pretty cheap here for a guy that has such a high ceiling. I mean, that offense is going to be prolific. We know that. And they've got
Yeah.
good running backs that could take some stuff away. But when you've got Tyreek Hill, you got Jalen Waddle, both those guys just got paid. They're both happy. They're going to show up and play. Tua's proven to be pretty good, leading the league in passing yards last season. I mean, obviously is a pretty good sign. And that offense just like it's a really good offense, and it's not going to slow down. They like to move quickly. They like to move the ball. So yeah, I think that you're getting him pretty cheap for a guy that has such a high ceiling. Kind of the the opposite of Allen. You're drafting or bidding on him here on the low end of things when he has a very high ceiling, and could finish a lot better. So I do like Tua.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Go ahead.
Real quick, just mom saying, hey, it's our friend the zebra, aka
Hey, Mama
Cody
Mark.
Z.
Hello.
No, at $2, that seems like a steal for Tua because he
Agreed.
has Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Like he has,
And Odell Beckham Jr. now. If you
It's-
think that's a asset,
Now, if you can draft him and then trade him to Nick Fortune and get Lamar Jackson in return, I would highly suggest that you do that because that works out nicely.
Jamie, good seeing you. We'll see you next
Yes.
time.
Thank you for joining us.
Finishing up work. Nobody likes working. I think Tua is a steal at $2. I mean, obviously, 2 years in a row, a 1,700-yard receiver that we'll talk about. Spoiler alert, it's Tyreek Hill. I don't think he's going to take a step back necessarily. So I do like it. I mean, you go into fantasy football thinking your guys are going to be healthy the whole year. If they get injured, they get injured. You alter your plan then. So I don't think you can play on the fact that, hey, he could get injured, and $2 is a hell of a deal.
Yeah.
So let's talk
like
about
that's the thing. If he does get hurt, you're out $2. Like
right. Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about the disgusting quarterback in the league.
Not Drake May.
Not Drake May.
Aaron Rodgers.
Sorry, Brandon Spencer, the Jets fan.
Yeah, just Aaron Rodgers. Last season, let's talk about the points he finished at last season. A whopping 0.
He lasted 45 seconds, so
45 seconds.
That's commendable to some people.
Not to some. All right. Now, he had no top 5 finishes. Nothing. He did nothing last season. But his current ADP is QB20 with an AAV of $1. Is he going to be fantasy? My biggest question is he going to be fantasy relevant again? Like, is he going to do something?
My biggest is, can he stay healthy? He's old now. And is he going to be vice president?
How old is he though? Like, is he? Well, yes. The vice president thing is probably the biggest problem. But if he's doing that, he might be slightly distracted. I don't know.
He's 40.
Yeah, that's old.
He's older than me.
Is it though? Like that? I don't know. It used to be old.
Okay,
but
you're used
now,
to Tom Brady. Not
well,
everybody is Tom Brady.
Tom Brady youthifies.
Yeah, but this is Aaron Rodgers, not Jay Cutler, or you know what I mean?
Whoa. Whoa.
Sorry, Justin, I apologize.
Aaron Rodgers,
how do I mute Cody?
isn't he on another retreat right now too?
I do believe he's on a darkness retreat or ayahuasca retreat. One of those.
It's ayahuasca, Justin. Jesus.
Ayahuasca.
You drive me nuts when you pronounce that. There's one other thing too. I got to think of what it is. But every time you say it, it's Rashad White. His name's Rashad. You always say Rashad.
Rashad.
I always scream
at
at the
CH in his
radio.
name.
Stop.
What's the other?
But anyway,
I remember another one. He doesn't like how I pronounce it. What's the other name? I can't remember.
I don't know. I'll have to think about it. But
All right.
anyways, back to Aaron Rodgers.
Yes.
I mean, like, again, this is a very cheap price you're getting him at. If you want to roll the dice, like, I'm not going to say not to, because we've seen what Aaron Rodgers can be before. It's the Jets. They're seemingly cursed for a long time, right? And he only lasted 45 seconds last year. So I don't know. I probably won't have a ton of Aaron Rodgers, but I don't hate it. I mean, there's maybe some upside there potentially, but I think there's so many other people that I would rather take for the upside that I'm probably just going to leave Rodgers alone. And if he shows up and he plays great, good.
Are you going to take him in a super?
Well, in Superflex, you have to have as many quarterbacks as you can. So, yeah, if he's there, and I mean, I would not be opposed. I'm not avoiding him by any means, especially with the price you're going to get him at. He's somebody worth looking at. Maybe somebody you can get cheaper. That, hey, he's your third quarterback, and if you need him on bye week or somebody gets hurt, you can pop him in there and he might be decent for you. But I don't have like super high expectations for Rodgers.
The only time I'm drafting him is, I mean, aside from a super flex where if he's there, you got to take him. But best ball drafts, it seems like he has dropped quite low. So in the last 5-6 rounds, if you haven't gone heavy on quarterback, it's like Aaron Rodgers could win you some weeks. I mean, he could pull in some good points.
Another great thing about Nebraska, we can do best ball drafts here, Rod. Not Rod. I call you Rod. Jeez, I'm so used to doing podcasts with Rod, but
it's an honor to be called Rod. It's okay.
It is really. So yes, that's a good thing. But we could do I do best ball drafts whenever we want. I'm on the clock in 6 picks actually. So
you know what? I'm on the clock soon too, because you can do slow drafts in Iowa as long as you start them in another state.
You started one when we were up in Minneapolis.
Yes, I started a couple of the I don't remember what they're calling the $7 draft, but they had a $7 one. I jumped in a couple of those.
Was that the Poodle?
Might be the Poodle.
I got
They've had the Poodle, the Chihuahua. I mean, they've got those little dogs in there.
I've been doing all of
them. Yeah, I agree with my mother here. Smokin' Jay is still awesome. Big fan there. I don't think A-Rod going to put up huge fantasy numbers, but Jets winning the division. Now that's a spicy take.
The Patriots are winning the division. So
Sports Nonsense and Whiskey needs to take a drink of a spicy rye whiskey with a lot of spice in it, because that's a spicy
The Jets
take.
They're not even a good number to win the division. Like, not even worth betting on. They're
the second favorite. Plus 190.
Speaking of division winners, real quick, sportsgamepodcast.com. I did pick every division winner. Well, I picked the best bet for every division, not necessarily the division winner, but hard to bet on the Chiefs at like minus 250. So obviously you pick somebody else that's got some value there. But not great odds for wanting to bet on the Jets for sure.
Yeah, I was looking at that because we're going to get to our best bets, and I don't understand the Dolphins being lower or higher odds, I guess, plus 200 versus the plus 190. But I don't know.
The Jets are plus 190. Yeah. Dolphins are the way to go for sure, which we'll talk about later. But
well, let's talk about your quarterback.
I was going to say, let's circle back to quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Jacoby Brissett time. Let's go.
What do you think you can a starting job?
Well,
I mean,
if you look,
we're talking about Drake May.
Yeah, I know. We should talk about Drake.
Never mind. Go ahead. You talk about Jacoby.
Well, if you look at the betting odds, Jacoby Brissett is the heavy favorite. He's like minus 260 to be the week 1 starter. May is minus or plus 200 to be the week 1 starter. So I'll let you set up the Drake May before I get into all my thoughts. Sorry.
Okay.
I didn't mean to jump on your. I didn't mean to jump on your job there, Miranda.
Well, I was just gonna say, May is currently going at an ADP of QB 32, AAV of $1. Well, then that's all I was really gonna say about him, because I was gonna hand it over to you.
I was just
sell us on him.
Yeah, I mean, is he the next Josh Allen, or these are not my words. These are not my words. I've seen reels doing this. Is he the next Zach Wilson?
Well, let's hope it's the first part and not the second part, right? But so I do think that there's a pretty strong chance that Jacoby Brissett starts the season as the starter. But I think that Drake May is worth a stash. More so if you can get him in Dynasty. I really, really like getting him in Dynasty, because I think that he's a multi-year project like a Josh Allen was. I mean, Allen was kind of so-so the first couple of years before he really broke out, and he turned into the Josh Allen that we have now. I think that Drake May has Josh Allen type upside. I'm not going to say that he's going to be Josh Allen, of course. I think that he needs a lot of work still, right? He's not just ready to jump in day one and take the reins. He's not Caleb Williams, going to lead the Bears to the Super Bowl this year, right? We're not quite there on Drake May, but I think that he's got the potential to be really good, especially for fantasy. At 32 for the quarterback being drafted at $1, he's worth a stash on your bench, and you kind of hope that, he gets in. Or, if it looks like Brissett is going to start the season, maybe you kind of keep an eye on it, and a couple weeks in, try to pick him up before he gets named the starter, because once he comes in and he starts to play, he's got, I don't think people realize his rushing ability is really good. That's a lot of upside for fantasy. And I think he'll perform well. Like the Patriots, we'll get into the receiver talk obviously later, and they don't have a stud receiver, but they're starting to build a pretty decent room of some guys that have some potential that I like. You've got Hunter Henry there. Stevenson obviously is coming back. So the offense isn't going to be horrible. And I think that Drake May has upside for sure, especially for the price you're getting him at. I mean, you're coming in with no expectations. The 32nd quarterback drafted, there's only 32 teams in the league, right? So he's at the very end of that. He's only $1. But I think there is definitely some upside there. Best ball, love getting him late in best ball, because if he doesn't start right away, but he comes in later, ends up having some boom games later in the season when he kind of blooms for you, that's exactly what you're looking for there, hitting big. So I love that. But yeah, I'm not obviously going to say he's the next coming yet, but I think there's a lot of potential there, especially more long-term.
A really good friend of ours who watches a lot of college football. He's a big Georgia fan, but watches a lot of college football. Before the draft, when I was asking him, it looks like the Bears are getting Caleb Williams. What are your thoughts? He said that he thinks Drake May will have a better career overall than Caleb Williams will. So take that.
I think he's got I think he has the higher ceiling long term. He also has the lower floor, of course. So
yeah,
it's the risk reward type of thing. But yeah, long term, I mean, he really could be a Josh Allen type, and that's what I'm hoping for sure.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, and if that's true, it'll really make the division pretty interesting with Tua playing well, Josh Allen obviously being Josh Allen, and then Drake May, and who knows what the Jets are going to do. Before we talk about running backs,
wide Jordan Love in a few years.
right. That seems to be the pattern. Before we talk about running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends, which we are going to have to roll through a little quicker, let's talk about Rhythm. If you're betting on player props, then you need to download Rhythm. Rhythm is the go-to sports betting tool that transforms complex data into actionable insights, empowering bettors with smarter data-driven decisions. Unlike other platforms, Rhythm combines advanced predictive analytics with an intuitive user experience, making both easy and enjoyable betting. Rhythm's predictive models were born from the brains of MIT data scientists and quants with over 3 years of data that help you drive the better AI-backed betting decisions. Now, I took quantitative decision-making. I imagine that's the stepping stone to being a quant, and it was difficult. I took it twice. It was difficult. I did not take it 4 times, as Miranda is aiming towards me. It was twice. I took the regular one, and then I took the adult version at the night class, where the teacher goes, I'm not going to make you memorize formulas. You'll have a calculator for that. But I bet these quants have it memorized. Rhythm projections have been red hot for WNBA, Go Caitlin Clark, and golf. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
I don't want to derail us too much, but I swear you took it 3 times.
I think it was twice.
I thought you took the normal version twice, and then you did you signed up for the adult class.
We don't need to get into my college record. That was a little derailed by Halo. There were a lot of times when Fair enough. It was Wild Turkey. Thank you very much. But that Wild Turkey 101 got me. There were a lot of times, though, I was headed to class. I had my backpack on, going down the stairs of the fraternity, and my best friend Paul goes, "Hey, you want to play Halo?" And it's like, fuck yeah, okay. Drop the backpack. I don't need this class. It's fine. But then I met Miranda and miraculously got good grades. So it was, I was like, well, she's not going to want to date a slack. So anyways, let's talk about these running backs. Let's go in the same order of teams. Sorry.
How dare you?
So sorry.
Great minds think alike.
I guess.
Save the best for last. I get it. It's cool.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. We've done that with our guests we brought on the show. We saved their team for that.
Hang on. Sorry. Let's jump real quick to quarterbacks. Top quarterback and best value. Top has got to be Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. Best value, I think, is Tua.
Yes.
I agree with that.
Agreed.
You agree?
It's
All right.
clean
That was
sweep.
easy.
Consensus. All right. That was easy. Let's talk about James Cook. He finished the season with 210 fantasy points. That's averaging like 12.4 points a game. He had two
Sorry.
he had 2 top 5 finishes. I talk with my hands. I try to keep them down. I just okay. I'm animated. Anyway, he's going currently at an ADP of RB14 with an AAV of $28. And last year he was RB11. So we're taking him 3 spots back right now. I guess what?
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't really feel like, just a lot of changes, except they did draft Ray Davis.
Yeah. The Kentucky kid who I don't know if he's going to eat into the workload a whole lot. James Cook just seems to be relevant each year, and Bills running backs in general do. Like, I was always out on Devin Singletary, but it always seemed like he did okay for the Bills. And same with James Cook. It's like, well, I'm not going to draft him, but yeah. So I don't know, Cody, what are your thoughts on James Cook? Are you drafting him? Are you a fan?
Yeah, well, not a fan because he plays for the Bills, but fantasy wise, I am in on him. I think that lack of stud wide receivers with Diggs kind of going out of town, that could help Cook. He's probably going to get some more dump off stuff. Maybe they try and run the ball more, not only with Allen but with Cook as well. I think that he's kind of established himself as the guy there. So yeah, for being running back 11 last season and you're getting him at 14 this year or $28, I think this is a pretty good deal on Cook, and I kind of expect him to keep the same pace that he had last year.
Yeah, and I like Ray Davis a lot. I think he may take a touchdown or 2 away.
Is that the only other running back that they have? Like, because
nothing special.
Like, it's all going to be James Cook. I think. I don't
think. Or Josh Allen.
Or Josh Allen. That's true.
Right. Yeah.
But Josh Allen last year and James Cook still did all right.
Yeah, they did.
Finished RB11. So yeah. Let's talk about the Dolphins, who I feel have a really crowded back room.
I'm gonna give you some data.
Ooh,
No data on Raheem Mostert and Devin Achan. I said Achan right? I always want to say Achan. Achan. But with Mostert, he brought in 255.2 fantasy points last season. That's averaging around like 17 points a game. He had 4 top 5 finishes. His current ADP is RB30, and he's going at an AAV of $15. And last year, he was RB2.
Yes.
Yeah. I was like, Yeah. RB2. Yeah.
And it, like I said, it's a crowded back room. Mostert, Achan. They drafted Jalen Wright. They still have Jeff Wilson. But I still don't.
Why is he dropping?
Yeah, 28 spots. Yeah, he's a little bit older. Yeah, he has been injury prone, but he did fine last year. I think they probably want to get Achan more involved, maybe get Jalen Wright more involved. But if Mostert performs like he did last year, it's going to be hard to keep him off the field. Cody, how do you feel about Raheem Mostert?
Oh man, I'm really torn on this backfield. I think that you're getting a pretty good deal on Mostert. I mean, he was the running back too last year, and you're getting him at this cheap of a price. So, they probably want to get Achan more involved, you would think, and he was hurt a lot last season. But I still think that you're going to get a lot of production from Mostert. I think that you can get a lot of production out of both of these guys, really. So, I like Mostert for where you're getting him. $15 is not much for the guy who was number 2 last year. Is he going to be running back 2 again this year? Probably not. I think that's a little high for sure. But drafting him at RB30, like, is he going to be better than 30? Yeah, absolutely.
And I think the reason, like, looking at where Devin Achan is going, he's currently going at an ATP of RB9. So people clearly think
that it's flipped.
We're going to flip that.
The thing about the Dolphins is if things go like last year, that sometimes they run up the score without meaning to run up the score. I mean, they can get ahead a lot, and then they give it to these running backs, and they pop off these huge runs.
Well, and that's the thing is like this entire offense is just so good, and that was to the Tua point earlier, right? Like, yeah, like you said, they're not even trying. They're trying to just run the ball out, and you give it to Achane, and he's so explosive that he goes off. I mean, I don't want to compare him to like Christian McCaffrey, but I think he's got that type of ability. Now he has to stay healthy, right? We didn't see that in year one, but again, how do we really? He's injury prone. Did he just have bad luck last year? We'll have to see more, but I think he's got the upside. Now you have to pay for him because he's $35. He's going at RB9, so if you take that risk, you have to hope that it pans out. But man, the explosiveness we saw from him last year when he was on the field, he could be that guy that kind of just breaks everything and really pays off for the price you're getting him at.
For sure. Yeah, and make sure you listen to us during the in-season. I know in our family league, my dad ended up picking up Achane, and it turned his season around after he started 0-4. So, but yeah, I mean, you want to cover Achane? We kind of covered Achane.
I feel like we covered him good enough. I mean, he's going at the RB9 with an AAV of 35, and
I would rather draft Mostert at 30 than Achane at RB9. What do you think, Cody?
Man, I'm really big on Achane. I really like him. It's just you got to know going into it's high risk, high reward. Like, you could get either side of the card. You could get the explosive back that we saw glimpses of, or you could get Mostert gets more of the work and he doesn't see as much. He gets hurt. But I really, really like the upside of Achane. I think I don't have a problem paying that much for him and rolling the dice. Sometimes you got to take risks in fantasy football. Shoot for the moon. It can go either way. But I like taking the risk with him.
Would you take them both?
I don't think that's a bad idea if you can get both of them, because then if one of them does go down, or if then you've got the one that does pop off if they go with one. So and I think they can both be productive. We saw that last year. They can be both productive side by side, and the Dolphins are scoring 8 touchdowns at the end of the game, and they each get 4 because they just can't stop.
Yeah, for sure. Let's talk about the Jets running back.
Breece Hall.
Iowa State. Shout out to Iowa State.
Not tight end U, but it's Iowa State.
They're much better than Iowa, so that's all that matters.
I wouldn't tout Iowa State, except there's a Husker fan on the pod, so I'll go Iowa State.
My grandpa is a Iowa State alumni, so I do like.
Oh, nice, nice.
So, good for them.
I don't, because we keep getting too many cyclones/tornadoes here, and the more we get, the less I like the Iowa State Cyclones.
Yeah, we were in our basement again this week.
Yeah,
and there was like that photo of was it 4 or 5?
It was 4 or 5 in Colfax. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's been rough this year.
It's weird.
It has.
All right. Breece Hall averaged 14.9 points a game last season with 5 top 5 finishes. His ADP is RB2 with an AAV of $59. And last year he came in at RB4. I just have to point this out right now. With the going at an ADP of RB2, that's ahead of Bijan.
Yeah.
It's ahead of Saquon and Jonathan Taylor. Do you feel like he should be that RB2? Are you taking him at RB2?
I'll let Cody lead. I know my answer.
There's other guys I'd rather have. I think he's going to be good. I think he's a great running back, and I think he's going to be productive. But would I rather have Bijan Robinson? Yes. Would I rather have Gibbs? Yes. Would I rather have Jonathan Taylor? Yes. Would I rather have Saquon Barkley? Maybe. Like, I don't know. I don't think that I'm ever going to be in a position where when he's up on the board in a draft or we're spending money on people that I'm going to want to spend it on Breece Hall, because there's going to be other guys that I want. So I think he's going to be great, and I think he's going to have a good season. But he's so hyped by everyone that I'll let them buy the hype, and I'll go in on somebody else.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. I would rather have Bijan Robinson or Saquon Barkley over Breece Hall. And Christian McCaffrey obviously going as RB1, rather have him. I love Brees Hall. I think he's a very good fantasy football player, but I think $59 in RB2 is too high of a price personally.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
And I don't see him finishing there.
No.
Yeah, and again, like to your point of Allen earlier, like you're drafting him at his ceiling, so he has to hit that. And I
Yep.
think that I feel less confident in him than some of these other people.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Ramondre.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Ramondre Stevenson averaged about 10.5 points a game last season. He had one top 5 finish. He's currently going at an ADP of RB20 with an AAV of $23. And last year he finished as RB36, but he did miss 5 games, so that contributed to the finishing at the 36th spot. So he's being drafted at RB20.
Yeah. I'll make Cody proud here and say that I'm a huge Ramondre Stevenson fan. I always have been. He's a dog. I feel like he's always slept on. He doesn't do a ton of catching out of the backfield, but he can. He lowers his shoulder and makes contact. Had the injuries last year. To me, it's going to be a big question of, can Drake May or Jacoby Brissett be good enough that the run game opens? But I'm still a big Ramondre fan. Cody, I assume you are, but how do you feel about Ramondre Stevenson at that RB20 and $23 AAV?
Yeah, I love him. I get him a lot of years because, like you said, he just kind of gets slept on and lost in the shuffle. And yet he's pretty solid for you, just kind of always produces. Not going to be the running back number 1, like we know that, but he's going to be solid for where you're getting him at. Just re-signed for a new deal. Yeah, $26 million guaranteed or something. Like probably way too much money for what he is, but they believe in him. They brought him in. Antonio Gibson's coming in. He might take a little more of the catching work. Stevenson, like you mentioned, has never really been the big catching back guy. But I think re-signing him kind of shows like, hey, this guy's a core piece of our team. We like him. The Patriots aren't going to be up in a bunch of games where they're running the ball late, but I think that they're probably not going to be great either. So they're just going to stick to the game plan and run the ball. I don't think that it's going to be where they're down and just trying to chuck it all the time, especially if you are trying to work in a Drake May. Like you're just going to have a game plan, play your game, and do your thing. So I think that Stevenson's going to see plenty of work. The lack of touchdowns could be there because are the Patriots going to score a bunch of touchdowns? Probably not, right? But I think that Stevenson can be pretty productive.
Yeah, no, I agree.
All right, now top running back and best value.
I'm going with Achane for the top running back. I think that he gets it done. Dethrones Brees Hall in this deal. Best value, probably James Cook. Honestly, you could go with Mostert maybe too, but I like Cook because I think you're going to get a top 10 running back, top 15 running back for the RB12 price. So I like it.
Yeah, Murr.
I'm going James Cook as a top.
As your top.
As
all
my
right.
top
Well, that makes him a good value then.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I also like Mostert at an AAV of 15.
Yeah.
Because I see him finishing above RB30. So I think that's low
Yeah.
for Mostert.
Yeah.
He's definitely like the other guy I would toss in there as value.
Yeah. Brees Hall is my top guy. I don't think he gets dethroned by Achane. I do think he's getting drafted too high, but he's still my top running back in the division. And then I think Raheem Mostert is the best value because $15, I mean, that's almost a high-end flex piece in auction value, and I feel like Raheem Mostert can be that. So,
all right.
Shall we talk about wide receivers?
Let's do it.
All right.
All right. We have got.
Well, let's talk about the Bills.
I'm thinking about the Bills.
yeah.
Like, who's going to take the lead? Because who we have right now, you got
Dalton Kincaid, is he an option?
Right.
Khalil Shakir, Curtis Samuel.
They also added Sir Drops a lot. MVS.
MVS is showing up.
And the locker room cancer, Chase Claypool. I mean, this is a weird locker room.
It is a weird group.
Chase Claypool. Like, do the Steelers just have like the magic water from Space Jam for wide receivers? Or
I think so.
Because like Juju Smith and even Antonio Brown when he left, like these guys just like fall off the face of the earth when they're so Chase Claypool looked like he was going to be so good in Pittsburgh. I don't understand, but anyways.
No, I agree. It's like they leave Pittsburgh and it's like they kind of go crazy. I guess Juju
Yeah,
didn't go
which-
crazy, but I feel like
yeah.
you know,
But he just didn't he's not been. Sometimes I forget that he's even on the Patriots. Like,
yeah.
I,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I know you're a big Keon Coleman fan.
Yeah.
I do think that Curtis Samuel in the slot might have some sneaky
yes.
value.
Yeah,
for sure. Samuel, like, he's always had it. When he was with the Panthers,
Mhm.
he's with the
Mhm.
Commanders. Like, he's always a guy that I've grabbed late. You can stick him in there, especially if you have, like, I play in a lot of leagues where you start 3 wide receivers, you got a couple of flexes. Like, I'm needing guys just to jump in for a week or two here and there. He's a great piece that you can stick in there, and he's going to get some catches. He's going to get some yards every week. I love getting him, and you always get him cheap. Like, he's always super late. He's $1 in the auctions. Like, he's always cheap to get, and you're going to get some production out of him. And especially, like, he's kind of, I guess you could say MVS, but like, he's kind of the veteran guy in this wide receiver room, and probably a guy that Allen's going to kind of be able to trust underneath there in the slot.
Yeah, for sure. I like Keon Coleman for $1. I like Curtis Samuel for $1. I love getting them in best ball drafts and stacking them with Josh Allen. If you can make that work, it's amazing. There's no dog hair in your old fashioned. I see her like.
Out. Is that a dog hair on your lip?
I was also gonna.
So paranoid. 'Cause you dropped. I don't know. You got me paranoid.
I also I couldn't help but point out it's a phrase you said. Miranda also loves a good piece that you can stick in.
As I was saying that, I realized that was a poor choice of words. Especially
can't say those words around me. Boji Joe, can Justin Fields catch better than he throws? From a Bears fan, by the way. I think he steals the starting job. I'm just throwing that out there.
I can't,
dude. Best ball
honestly,
late, Justin Fields. Although he's
last round.
He's been climbing up a little bit in the drafts I've been doing here lately.
Fields sitting in that QB2 spot, like he's
and like, like if anybody can make him good, it's the guy who made Chase Claypool good. Like,
right?
It's Mike Tomlin. Yes,
Agreed. Let's talk about these Dolphins guys.
Let's do, because I love these receivers. Tyreek Hill averaged 19.8 points a game last season. He had 8 top 5 finishes. He is currently going at an ADP of wide receiver 2 with an AAV of a spendy $54. And last season, he missed 1 game, but still came in at wide receiver 2. So he's being drafted exactly where he ended. And then I'm just going to talk about Jalen Waddle really quick, and then let's break these guys down. For Jalen Waddle, he averaged 11.6 points per game. He had 1 top 5 finish. His ADP is wide receiver 20 with an AAV of $18. And last season, he finished as wide receiver 34, missing 3 games.
So I'm going to talk on them both real quick, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Tyreek Hill, are you going to be the person that fades a guy that's had over 1,700 yards 2 years in a row? Right. Can he make it 3? Maybe not 1,700, but
check his age right now.
But I don't want to fade him necessarily.
It doesn't matter how old he is, Miranda.
No, I know, but I think, like, I want to know.
Check his speed. Is he still fast? Then yes.
I did see him get burned by a kid on social media. Maybe he was letting
his
the kid
age
win.
Doesn't matter. Like 26 is like
yeah, he's still fine.
He's had like 8 kids this year. Like, he's a young man at heart. That's not even a joke either. Like,
right,
he literally has. So
there is that concern of mine of the drama, but
what concern
of all
no,
the
it's
kids.
not a concern because he's been like broke his kid's leg, still performed well. House burnt down last year, still performed well. Has 47 children, still performed well.
47.
It doesn't matter what happens to him. Like, he just shows up and runs fast.
With the guy who has all the kids. I don't
know. The movie with the guy that has all the kids.
It doesn't matter. We're good.
Cheaper by the dozen.
No.
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin. I mean, CeeDee Lamb's going number 1, Tyreek number 2. Guys behind him are Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra St. Brown, AJ Brown, Puka. I get all those guys are talented, but there's no world in where if I can get Tyreek Hill, I'm going to grab him. I mean, there's no world that I don't. And then Jalen Waddle, he's a little bit trickier. I mean, 2023, a step back from 2022, where he finished as wide receiver 7. Now he's wide receiver 34. They brought in OBJ. I think he's closer to the 7 range, right? I think he's closer to that 7 range, but I think wide receiver 34 is a little low for him. Cody, what do you think?
Yeah, I love both these guys. I think that the only guy I would take over Tyreek, Amon-Ra St. Brown, because he's going to be the number 1 wide receiver this year. Calling that now. But I love Tyreek Hill. He's worth every penny. And he's worth where you take him. He just shows up and performs. And for Waddle, again, like what have we been saying this entire episode about this offense? They're really fucking good. He's going to perform too. He just got paid. He's happy. Everything's good in Dolphin land. Give me both these guys. And I think you're getting kind of a steal on Waddle at this price and being drafted at wide receiver 20.
I remember working at Wells Fargo and learning what something being fire meant.
My cupcakes were fire.
Your cupcakes were fire is what I was told. And they were red velvet. And I was like, because they're red? And I got laughed at. They're like, no, that means something's really good. It's like, oh, sorry. Not very hip over here, obviously.
News is slow in Iowa. It's okay.
Right. Just not very hip. Yeah, I think we all agree. Dolphins receivers, thumbs up.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's talk about the Jets quick. Garrett Wilson averaged 9.7 points a game last season. No top 5 finishes. His ADP is wide receiver 8 with an AAV of $35. And last year he finished as wide receiver 31. I'm sorry, Aaron Rodgers is not. I just don't see him being I don't know. Well, we can get to that in a minute. They've also got Mike Williams now on the Jets. This is painful.
You did love your Chargers receivers.
I did. The Chargers are just completely different. They're a stranger to me now. But Mike Williams is going at an ADP of wide receiver 55 and an AAV of $1. I mean, he was like out last season.
Yeah, he
So
missed most
we don't
year.
have much to say there about that.
Right.
I have a lot to say about Mike Williams. Do not take him in season-long fantasy. He will fucking burn you anytime you ever have him. Best ball? Yes, because he can pop off. He'll have big games, and he has a lot of games where he doesn't show up. I've been burned by him too many times. I will not touch Mike Williams.
Interesting.
I think for $1,
I would touch him for $1.
I did.
Justin, how do you feel about that?
this show just went south. For $1,
Because
I mean,
you're gonna get him for $1, and then week 7 and 8 and 13, he's gonna go off. You're gonna be so excited. You're gonna do the playoffs. You're gonna play him. He's not gonna catch a single fucking pass, and he's gonna cost you your. I'm telling you,
to play him, Coach.
time stamps this right now, Justin. You come back and get it in the playoffs when he fucks you over because he sucks.
I like it.
I'm not.
Yeah, no. I like him for the $1 to see if it pans out, because I think being a wide receiver 2 where everybody focuses on Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, he could, like you're saying, he could have games. Picking those games is going to be tricky if he stays healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Garrett Wilson at wide receiver 8 is too high for me.
And this is because he's going there because Rodgers is back and they think he's gonna.
He's a talented dude, but
he is talented.
High.
I'm a little bit torn on this because I think it's too high of a price, and I don't want to pay it. But like, if you look at where he's at, so like he's being drafted at 8. You got Harrison at 9. Honestly, I'd rather Harrison, but then it's Adams. I don't want anything to do with him with the quarterback situation there. London, you're putting a lot of faith in the Falcons. Then it's Olave. That's kind of a toss up between them, but it kind of falls off. Like Ayuk, I don't know that you want him over Wilson. Diggs, I don't want over Collins. Like that wide receiver rooms is too. So I think if if he falls past the St. Brown and AJ Brown and Puka and Harrison, and he's still there, maybe you would take him. But I think that people are just too high on this Jets offense, and we saw that in the running back section, right? Like, I just don't have all that faith in them.
Yeah. Sports nonsense, whiskey. Point out, you got dollars, and we're talking tight end soon. You love to blow your load on the tight end.
My wad.
Your wad, sorry.
Oh, jeez, Justin. Get it right.
Sorry, Nick. Yeah, no, I would take Chris Olave over Garrett Wilson, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm a big Olave fan.
I was going to say, when you mentioned Olave, I was like, ooh,
yeah.
That's
so I think out on Wilson, just not because he's not going to be good again, like just because he's too overvalued. You're drafting him at his ceiling. Yeah.
Agreed.
Now, for the Patriots, Cody, I hope you don't mind me.
Do we
putting you
have
on the
wide
spot.
receivers?
That's what I was gonna say. Like, who do you think is gonna become the main guy here? We've got
Yeah, get a dartboard out and
just throw it.
toss
Kendrick
one.
Bourne,
Uh,
Demario Douglas.
So
It's gonna be
Pop
Dom.
Douglas, like he did have big flashes last year, and I
Yeah.
think that there's something to build on there. And you're getting all of these guys at $1. You're getting them all super late. So Bourne is a guy that you probably want in best ball. I feel like his injury was like week 9 or week 10, so I don't know where we're at on like him returning right at the start of the season. I've not been paying that close attention to the Patriots yet, but Pop Douglas definitely I think has the highest ceiling. I do like Polk as a rookie coming in. A lot of unknowns there, obviously, and I think that's you're taking chances on a lot of these guys as far as the Patriots, right? It's cheap. You end up taking May at $1. Maybe him and Polk hit it off, being rookies, and all of a sudden you have a $2 stack that looks really great all of a sudden because nobody really saw it coming potentially. But yeah, if you put them all on the board right now, I got to draft one. Demario Douglas, Pop Douglas is the guy that I'm taking first, and then probably Polk after that, and then Bourne. Again, Bourne is kind of one of those guys like he's going to have big weeks for you, but it's going to be more inconsistent.
Yeah. And all the reports out of OTAs, I know it's just OTAs, but saying that Douglas looks like the guy, he looks like the best receiver there. So I'm with you there.
Some really good flashes last year, and
yeah,
it was Mac Jones was throwing the ball to him. So, like, if you can look good with Mac Jones, then I mean, Brissett is not a bad quarterback at all. I don't mind him starting the season for the Patriots. I think that's fine if May's not ready, and he can produce and have good wide receivers playing for him. So. I don't think that's a bad situation at all.
Biggest question with Brissett is, will the medical team puncture his lung?
Justin Herbert is not sitting behind him, so I don't think so. Unless Drake May is really starting to look that good, then maybe Belichick ends up being the doctor in the room or something. But
right.
All right, for wide receivers, top wide receiver, best value.
Got to be Tyreek for top.
If you say somebody else other than Tyreek, who are you taking out of all these?
Give me, Tyreek Hill.
Exactly.
Best value, Pop Douglas. Come on, no, probably not. Jalen Waddle, I think for the $18.
$18 to get Jalen Waddle at $18. Yeah.
I'm spending $1 and taking
Mike Williams for $1.
Okay, you're taking Mike Williams. That's not what I was going to say.
You're going to regret. I am going to rub it.
Do him for $1.
Wow,
what?
Before it was just touch him. Now it's wow, things have escalated quickly.
No,
we're not even to the tight ends yet.
I would take a flyer on Williams though.
For me, $1 on Keon Coleman. I think he's going to be the dude. I know Samuel's going to take some of that slot work. I know Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox are getting work. I think Keon Coleman, he's got a persona that is infectious, and I think he's going to be
so
good.
Much upside there too. Like he could just slide in and be the number one guy on what is already a great offense with a great quarterback.
Yeah,
you have a really good point there.
I like that spot.
Yeah, for sure.
Tight ends. We're getting into the tight ends now.
Talk about the tight ends. Yeah, let's start with the Bills.
Okay. Dalton Kincaid. He averaged 7.1 points per game last season. He had 2 top 5 finishes. His current ADP is going at that tight end 5 spot with an AAV of $18. Last year, he just made the top 12, finishing at tight end 12. I mean, I think that he, I know we've kind of hinted at this, but he has a chance of being the top target on the Bills offense.
Yeah, he does.
And this is an offense that they throw the ball a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. Cody, what are your thoughts on Dalton Kincaid?
Is he really going at tight end 5?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Ahead of Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, see, and Justin and I are very much agreed on Kyle Pitts.
No, Cody,
here.
this is very
no, Miranda, 1,000 yards in his rookie season, no quarterback throwing to him. And
what has he done since?
What he hasn't had Kirk. Who was throwing to him last year? He would have done better if you were throwing the ball to him last year.
I don't know about that. You've never seen Miranda throw.
It doesn't matter how Miranda throws.
No,
because look
I
who his quarterbacks were
I
last
no,
year,
we
the
can't talk
quarterback.
about this because I got mad that this got brought up, and that was 16 years ago.
Long story short, one time Miranda threw something.
And it was
Her mom was behind her and thought she'd be fine. It hit her mom in the face. So maybe
Oh, that's great.
would not
I
be
am
better.
much more coordinated than I was 16 years ago. I
Okay,
guess
but
we were-
as far as where he's being drafted, I agree with you. There's definitely upside there, and he could be the number one target in Buffalo, and it's a strong offense. But I think at this point, have we learned to not trust tight ends? To like, I don't know how to say it, I guess, but younger tight ends, I don't know. Like Laporta's going 1, and I think that's well earned. I think we've seen him be that next elite level, but like, have we seen that from Kincaid yet? Have we seen him be that guy?
no.
I mean, yeah, he had some really great performances last year, but I just don't know. And like when you can get Pitts after him, when you can get George Kittle after him, even Evan Ingram after the season he had last year, Brock Bowers, who's supposed to be really good, probably going to be on a lesser offense, an easy tight end dump off there. Like, I'd rather have some of these guys going after him than him. I think he's going to have a good season, but I think you're just paying too much. And like, as far as tight ends go, I either want the top of the line, Laporta, Kelsey, Andrews, or I want to wait and get, Komet later on.
You can't wait. You just can't wait. My motto is you can't wait.
Yeah. How'd that work out for you last year?
What do you mean?
In the listener league where you drafted Kelsey for $1 million.
That was I blame my partner.
I'm pretty sure that he was not the one advocating to draft Travis.
I said, stop. You kept bidding.
We blew our wad way too early in that league.
Yes, we did.
Even Aaron Rodgers lasted longer than you guys in that league.
Facts.
You can't draft Mahomes and Kelsey in auction.
Not in that league, we couldn't.
No.
No, I agree with you, Cody. He finished tight end 12 last year. Does he take a step forward? Yeah, I think so.
I do think so.
But does he take 7 steps forward to tight end 5? I don't think so.
There's too much volatility in the tight end. That's the word I was looking for earlier. Like it just varies too much outside of your like known commodities. And so I'm gonna save the money and go somewhere else tight end wise.
We had a week last year where what's his name? Stone Smart finished as a top 5 tight end in 1 week last year. So I mean, there's weird variations with tight ends. Yeah. It's hard to unless you get one of those top proven guys. I personally don't think we need to talk about Jonas Smith or Tyler Conklin.
No.
I'll turn it over to Cody. Do you think we need? I mean,
no. I mean, Johnny Smith's in that
19.
super productive offense, but again, he's in that offense that has Tyreek and Waddle and HN and Mostert.
Yeah.
Is he going to get any of that work? He might have a game or two where he pops off, sure, but he's not going to be consistent.
Yeah, agreed.
And Conklin, who? Like,
yeah, right. Yeah, I feel like he's irrelevant there, and very few tight ends have been fantasy consistent with Aaron Rodgers anyways. It's just not a position he bolsters a lot. So I don't think there's any use in that. But let's talk about the Patriots because Cody is our guest and Miranda loves Hunter Henry.
Well,
She had 2 tight ends. I was getting Hunter Henry for $1 and she decided, oh, I can't let you get him for $1. Let me take a third fucking tight end while I had 0. And that's why we can't draft in the same room anymore. That's one of the reasons.
That's one of the reasons. We don't do that anymore.
So yeah,
how about doesn't end well for us. Except for when we have to draft. It doesn't end well for us because we had to be in the same room drafting for our listener league and it did not go well. So one thing I want to point out about Hunter Henry is he also averaged 7.1 points per game last season, which is the same as Kincaid. He had 3 top 5 finishes. He missed 3 games last season, but still finished as tight end 18, and he's going at an ADP of 19, AAV of $1. Just as a side note, Patriots also have Austin.
Why is this? I see this in the show document. Why is this a side note? Is that notable?
I mean, no, he used to be relevant.
He did? No. Here we go. Let me fix this.
He's fixing it.
There we go. I deleted that note from the document. 'Cause it's
Just remove
delete.
it. They don't have him.
It stands out to me that he had the same game average as Dalton Kincaid, a guy that's going at tight end 5
for $17 less. And yeah. And 7 tight ends or 7 tight ends spots later. Or no, because he's going at 5. Yeah, geez, there's a lot of numbers in front of me here. He's going 14 spots later than Kincaid.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing is I'd rather take a guy like Henry. It's probably going to be a little less consistent than a Kincaid, yes, but he's going to have his boom weeks where he has a couple of touchdowns. We even saw that last year. If you end up getting the rookie quarterback in here, that safety blanket underneath when you don't have stud wide receivers, if the offensive line isn't great and they're getting to the quarterback quick, Henry's going to be right there to catch the ball a lot. I like him, especially for the cheap price you're getting him at with the upside he has. And he's fairly consistent in getting.
You can't take him as your tight end 1.
Why not?
Maybe he's.
If you totally punt the tight end spot, which is not, I understand that you don't understand that, but it's a possible.
Whoa!
Scenario.
I put a lot. No, I understand that you don't understand that.
I know that you need 2 tight ends in the first 4 rounds. Miranda.
Let's say that the top tight ends have gone for way too much. You miss out on all of them. You're not going to overspend on a guy like Dalton Kincaid, are you?
Draft is not going well.
I'm just going to start nominating all the tight ends early in these drafts with Miranda, so that we can get them out of the way. Just let her blow her whole wad on tight ends, and
you've got to have a top 5 tight end.
I will say I've seen this lady throw a magazine across the room before when she was mad.
When she was
drafting, yes.
Yeah, but tight end is so hard to predict who's going to be the top 5.
Yeah.
Look at the board right now. Do you think that Laporta, Kelsey, McBride, Andrews, and Kincaid are the top 5 for sure?
No.
So
because obviously Kyle Pitts.
Because Kyle Pitts gave me number 1, so that takes that spot.
Ew.
George Kittle can be in there.
We need to between the 3 of us have a serious bet about this.
A serious bet.
A serious bet about Pitts.
Cody has to come clean our house, or we have to go clean his.
I don't know if you want to take that bet, but Rod is on your side, Miranda. So you and Rod can come up with something on the negative side of Pitts. Justin and I will take the other side.
And I'm not sure where he is, but he can't drink out there. Stop tempting him.
He is on he's on Army duty.
Army. Okay.
Yes, he's out in Virginia. So little East Coast Rod for a couple of weeks.
Nice. I did watch the episode that Cody did by himself.
I've done a few lately, unfortunately.
I like the one where it was what did your sign say? Free Kyle.
I have it right here. Free Kyle Busch.
There you go. Yeah, the show.
That's how I opened the show because
I loved it.
Yes, he needs to be freed from the shitty team he's on. But
Jamie's back.
Jamie. I don't know.
Can't believe you're still going,
but I talk a lot.
We're still a lot of nonsense happening.
Yes, we talk too much. But that's our tight ends. Top tight end. It's hard not to argue Dalton Kincaid is the top out of this group. Agreed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Best value, Hunter Henry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Clean sweep.
What do you mean? You're taking Jonnu Smith or
what's
Hunter Henry? I'm not going to say $18 for.
What is Dawson Knox's? Is he just $1 too?
Yeah.
He could be a little bit sneaky.
Yeah.
I like him. I don't mind taking him as a bit of a flyer, not as your tight end 1, Miranda. Okay. But I think that he could easily kind of have a nice little spot there.
I think I would take Hunter Henry as kind of a flyer.
I got burned on Dawson Knox last year because I was like, that Dalton Kincaid guy, he isn't going to do much. And then,
if he wouldn't have he got hurt early, and then it just didn't. That's how it goes. But
yeah. Everybody knows that you blow your wad on tight ends.
On Miranda. The right tight ends?
Not the left ones.
Here's how drafts with Miranda go. Kelsey or Laporta, Kelsey, Kincaid.
Laporta. I highly value. Laporta is just
Yeah, but
she loves her Iowa tight ends, obviously.
On the right tight ends.
the one
From
thing
tight end
Iowa
you.
gets right, tight ends.
Yeah, right. And corn.
No, not as good as Nebraska corn, but that's okay.
Should we go over our best bets?
Let's
we'll
do
let
it.
Cody, we'll let Cody kick it off.
You want what do you want first? The lock first?
Yeah, let's hear your lock.
All right, here's the lock for you. Josh Allen over 480.5 rushing yards, minus 105. Guys, he's been in the league for 6 seasons. Only one time has he not hit this where he got to 461. Or wait, that's the wrong number. Oh, what is going on here? Oh, there's the right number. 421. Boy, it's been a long day. He got to 421 that season, so not too far off of the 480 number. That was only in 16 games back in 2020. COVID, everything was weird, throwing it out the window. But every other season, he's easily cleared this total. 524 last season, 762 in 22, 763 in 21, and they only set it at 480.5. This is over on DraftKings, by the way. Minus 105. Take the over. Josh Allen rushing yards. That's my lock for the division.
I like it. I like it a lot. Miranda, you want to give your lock out?
Yeah, I can do that.
Oh, I can already hear the sorry Cody coming. Let's go ahead. Drake May under what?
No. No,
Patriots under win total.
No Drake.
Okay.
No Drake May here.
Oh, okay.
I don't think the Bills are regressing like a lot of people are talking. And you can get them at plus 170 to win the division. The Jets are plus 190 and the Dolphins slipped to plus 200. I 100% feel like the Bills will win the division.
You forgot to give out the Patriots number. I don't know if you realized that.
I didn't write down the Patriots number.
It's 25-1, Miranda. Go ahead.
25-1. There you go.
That's
There
the
you
dog
go.
for you.
But like, you know, the Bills, it's a well-coached team. You've got Josh Allen. Like, give me the Bills plus 170 to win.
I like that. I actually think if they don't win the division or if they struggle again, that McDermott might be on the hot seat, because it just seems like he's had a lot of chances and not got it. My lock, I will start with sorry, Cody. Patriots won 4 games last year, and I do think they're on track to start getting better, but they got a really tough schedule this year. And usually that 4th place team, it's not as tough, but here's their schedule: Bengals, Seahawks, Jets, Niners, Dolphins, Texans, Jaguars, Jets, Titans, Bears, loss, Rams, Dolphins, Colts, Cardinals, Bills, Chargers, Bills. I think they get a win against the Jets. The Cardinals, I think, is the next easiest team, but that's on the road in Arizona. I looked at this and I just thought, holy shit, they got a really tough schedule, especially for a quarterback room that maybe it's Brissett or maybe it's the rookie and a young team. Under 4.5 wins is plus 135. And sorry, Cody, I'm locking it in.
All right. Noted. I'll be back.
You just made the list.
I made the list. All right, Cody,
dogs.
Dog?
I have 2 dogs for you. I hope that's okay. We got a small dog, little Chihuahua, and then a big dog. So,
all right,
Jamie, president of the Jacoby Brissett fan club. All right, let's go. I like it. I love.
What do you want in?
All right, we're gonna start with the small dog, little Chihuahua bark here. Miami Dolphins win the division 2-1. Buffalo is regressing, unlike what Miranda said.
Oh.
And this offense unstoppable. They're gonna get the Bills. I think they had the same record last season, but had lost obviously the tiebreaker. Yep. They're gonna get one more in this season and get it. And then, drum roll, please, the New England Patriots to start the season 5-0, 100-1. Here's how this goes. They play the Bengals in week 1. The slowest starting team in the league is the Bengals. They're going to come out flat, lose the first game. Then they go to Seattle, new coach, Seattle comes to New England, new coach. What's going on with the quarterback situation there? It's going to be a 3-0 game. Patriots win it. Play the Jets in week 3. Aaron Rodgers is already 2.5 games done. He's back on the ayahuasca. That's 3 wins. The 49ers game is going to be a little bit of a struggle, but I believe in the Patriots. They can get it done. By this time, Drake May is looking like the number 1 fantasy quarterback in the league, and they go in, upset the big 49ers, and then they come home, take care of the Dolphins. We always split with the Dolphins anyways. Gonna have they'll win the home game. 5-0, 100-1. Thank me later.
Oh, he's got high hopes. He's got yeah, I mean, I don't see it, but I hope it happens for you because I know you're a big Patriots
I also
fan.
don't see it, but I like to believe in miracles. So
Gotta keep.
There you
gotta keep the
go.
hope.
you know,
Yeah.
Keep the hope
there's a
alive.
path, right? I carved out the
Yeah.
path. It's unlike
Yeah.
100-1 for a reason, right? But
Yeah.
we hit
I mean,
80-1. We hit 80-1 on the NASCAR podcast a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago. We like those big dogs over there, so we don't give them out if they can't hit. This one can definitely hit.
I mean, even if you want to bet $1, you get paid $101. I mean, that's a good return on investment.
Sounds like a good dollar. I could find worse ways to spend dollars on shitty tight ends, right, Miranda?
Like
Spend $1 and you could
touch Mike Williams.
I'd rather put it on the Patriots at 100-1 than touch Mike Williams with that $1. So there we go.
There you go. All right, Murray, your dog.
Yeah. Kind of playing off of my lock of the Bills winning the division. I think that the Dolphins come in second. So you can get Bills, Dolphins 1-2, 1-2 exact on DraftKings at plus 500. And these are, two teams that were neck and neck last year. I don't see that changing as long as both Allen and Tua are healthy. So just, for record, if you are scared that it might be Dolphins Bills, you can go to top 2 on DraftKings and get the top 2 to be Bills Dolphins in any order at plus 190.
I like that because I have no faith in the Jets or Patriots. Sorry. I think for sure it's
Sorry, Cody.
yeah, Bills Dolphins.
Had
So
to get
if you
one
can
in.
get that any order plus 190
Mhm.
seems really good.
Yeah. No, I do like that. I think those two teams should be the top 2. And I joke about the Patriots. They're not. It's going to be a rebuilding process. They're not going to. They're going to be a 4th team in this division. I understand that, but I do think that it will be Bills and Dolphins at the top, and the Jets will be the 3rd team.
Yeah, it's interesting to me that there's so much hype on the Jets. Again,
I mean,
but
they did win 8 games last year without Aaron Rodgers, and they had Zach Wilson, and then I don't even remember who they brought in at quarterback. They were so unnotable. So
their defense is really
to
good.
still
I'll
win
give them
8 games with that. Like if Aaron Rodgers shows up, I could see the case, but I am much less in on them than the other 2 teams. You're muted, Justin. I think you're muted, Justin.
Can you hear me
What
now?
happened?
Yeah. I don't know. But you were muted that whole time. But then I tried to say something, but then I didn't know if I was still here or not.
Yeah, I see there was a
Something
thing that said we
happened.
lost connection to our
Yeah.
browser.
So sorry.
yeah.
It's giving us signs like
I had such a good
All that stuff
speech
you just
too.
said. Nobody-
Well, here's what I was saying. That I'm not going to overthink it. The Cowboys, I think, will take a step back. I know you're thinking wrong division, but it has to deal with CeeDee Lamb maybe not getting as many yards as he has been. And Tyreek Hill is the favorite for most receiving yards. He's had 1,700 2 years in a row, but even as a favorite, it's 6-1 odds. It's plus 600. I think that he has a very good chance of hitting that. He's uncoverable. He racks up a shit ton of yards. Mike McDaniel knows how to use him. At 6-1, I'm all over that one. So
I like it.
Yeah, that's my
Interesting.
dog. Yeah, I'm going Tyreek as long as 2 is healthy.
Stop. You cannot do that. You're banned from doing that on the show.
I knew that would
I
get
do
you.
not like it.
Control your husband,
Done.
Miranda. What is going on over
I
there?
don't know. He's sleeping on the couch.
I was doing the bear claw. What do
No,
you think I was
It's not
doing?
the bear claw. That's not okay. I don't know why you think it's funny. I'm not laughing.
She is laughing. Look at her. She's like, ah.
No, I'm not laughing.
Anyways, I can't. That's just all. Whenever I think Tua, that's what I see. You can't help it.
I don't see that.
Shout out to Keeper's Heart that we were drinking. If you find yourself going to the gift store, you can get yourself Keeper's Heart glasses that are made from the bottles.
For
They
their
sell
date
those.
night special.
Yeah. So you mentioned that their bottle is really cool. You can get a glass that has that on it. You probably can order
These
that
are
online
sweet.
too.
You can see, I didn't finish all the way. A little paranoid. There is no dog hair in it.
I'm pretty sure I see a dog hair.
No, don't say that.
You can find Cody at the NASCAR Gambling Podcast. You can find him at the F1 Gambling Podcast and all over SGPN. Cody, let us know what's coming up, what's big in NASCAR right now, and what articles are you working on?
Oof, articles, there's a lot of them. I do have over on sport, just go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com. You'll see them all. I got Super Bowl. I like wrote up every team, basically a little bit on them, what their chances are, made a couple of picks there, picked every division winner to bet on. And then I've got Tour de France's this weekend, so I got an article out on that. Cover the Premier Lacrosse League every week. So got best bets over there. Tomorrow there will be a NASCAR underdog article. There'll also be an underdog article for the hot dog eating contest next week. Let's go. Hot dog best bets coming next week, so make sure you check that out. There's F1 articles over there, all kinds of stuff. So make sure you're following me at Husker_Zeeb. You can find all that stuff, all the sports you want to bet on, and even the sports you don't know yet you want to bet on.
I really do think you should try to do
pillow fighting coming soon.
And maybe sumo wrestling, since that's a thing.
Adam, I know you're listening. Jamie would like pillow fighting bets. So,
and I would like to see Cody write a sumo wrestling article.
Yeah, sumo wrestling.
Yes, I'll have to explain what sumo wrestling is to Miranda, but
I know what it is. I just didn't know it was still around. I don't know why.
Do you know what it is?
I do. Well, they wrestle. Sumos wrestle.
Sumos wrestle.
Oh, you nailed it. Yep, you definitely know what it is.
Please describe sumo wrestling. Well, sumos wrestle. That's the extent of it.
That's actually how I'm going to start the article out. This is a sport where sumos wrestle each other. Okay, now on to the bets.
I love it.
Killing me.
Yeah,
I'm
Cody.
Myself.
Cody does great work. I love all the articles and the versatility too on all the sports. But for sure, check out NASCAR. I am not somebody who I don't follow NASCAR. I don't watch NASCAR that often, except when I place bets with these guys. And it's like, I'm going to flip it on my phone and see what's going on
They
it.
know what they're talking about.
Yeah, they're very, very knowledgeable when it comes to NASCAR. And they will win you money. I guarantee you that. It might not be the week you tune in. It might not be that. So just keep tuning in because you're going to win money because so many of the NASCAR bets are plus money.
Oh,
so,
we like. You'll have last week was kind of a rough week, but you'll have big weeks. Like I said, we hit 80-1 earlier this season on an outright winner. And you get a lot of big plus money bets, so it helps a ton. It's funny because you talk about you come and talk about football and stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, minus 125, minus 130. Like if we bring up a minus 130 bet on the NASCAR show, we're like, oh, this one's kind of juiced up a little bit, but we're gonna pull the trigger on it, and it's like, so yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I do cover lots of sports, but NASCAR is my sport. That's I've lived and breathed that since I was a little kid, so it's a lot of fun. And then Rod, obviously my co-host, is the best, as you guys know. So yeah, check it out. We always have fun over there, and even if you don't know anything about NASCAR, like just tail the bets and have fun. We try to make it entertaining show. So,
and you only pay the juice if you lose.
Boom.
You're gonna pay the juice on Max Verstappen, but in F1, but he's gonna win. I mean, that's just how it goes.
Not so much anymore.
Not so much.
The tide is turning in F1. You got to tune into the F1 Gambling Podcast to find that out.
Yeah,
Lando Norris week this week. So
we'll there you go. All right, Miranda, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
I just want to thank you for joining us and putting up with all of our sorry Codys and talking down about the Patriots and
the Huskers
and mention the Huskers.
Yeah, well, when the Huskers beat Iowa this year, I will make sure to rub it in. And when Kyle Pitts is the number one tight end, you'll be hearing from me. When Mike Williams loses you playoff spots, you'll be hearing from me again.
No. I didn't say I'm not taking him as.
If you're spending $1 on him,
flyer on him. Yeah. I would touch him for $1.
You would touch him for $1, and then he's going to make you regret touching him. So
$1. What? I missed that. We froze.
You froze again.
Yeah,
I said you're going to spend $1 on him, and he's going to make you regret touching him.
Oh
But
man.
I do appreciate you
Anything
guys
else?
having me on. Love the show.
Yeah.
Listen to everyone. So you guys are always entertaining, good knowledge for the most part. You think Iowa corn's better? We can't be right about everything.
is.
I get it.
It is. It's you look at that's all people know about Iowa corn.
Well,
That's all
there's
they
not
know
much
about
else
Nebraska
there,
too,
so.
though. But
Mm,
We got a lot of cows here.
we both got beat by Pennsylvania in corn this year, so
I know.
So
That
there
was
is that.
dumb.
Who's that?
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you give Cody a follow at Husker_Zeeb. Always got good stuff going on. And go check out the NASCAR Gambling Podcast because it's a lot of fun. Miranda, your old fashioned is not gone because you're worried about the dog hair, but mine is going once, going twice.
So